Yeah, man. What another day, and we live. We talk weekly after the talk on WPP MLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We talk weeklies after the talk with your boy Charles Gregg and the beautiful
Lauren
and
Sizzle.
my guy.
Daryl Smith
I
Jr.
want to make sure I get your mic on. Give me one more again.
Daryl Smith Jr.
One more time. I
One
don't
more
hear you.
time. Test, test.
I think you want to rock. Go. Let's go to another mic. Let's go to one of those mics. Yeah. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Let's just snatch one of them. Test that mic again for him, Lauren. Right there. Yeah. Nope. I still don't hear it. Nope. Go ahead. No, you good. There, I hear something. There we go.
Here we go. Daryl Smith Jr.
There you go, my God. What's going on, my brother? How you doing?
Man, I feel like I haven't been here for a while.
I know, man. You know, you've been a little under the weather.
Yeah, I was
right?
down bad. I was down bad last Saturday.
Yeah.
There's a stomach bug going around. It got me hard.
Nah, man. No doubt.
I really wanted to be here. It just was not happening.
No, no doubt, no doubt. It's like that. It gets like that sometimes. We gotta move some of these mics out the way. You know what I want you to do? Why don't you move that around and move that towards you and sit
Got
back
you,
where you would
got you,
normally
got
do?
you.
Because I want to make sure that we get you on the camera like we normally would do, and have a dynamic conversation. We got a couple guests coming on tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit. We got someone going to talk. I guess, when we talk about entrepreneurs and people who's doing some dynamic things, man, we're going to have them on. We have this young lady on that has been doing some great things. Just had got a partnership with GNC.
Wow.
So that's a good look. In
Yeah,
addition to went viral on TikTok with her product, and so we're gonna talk a little bit about that too. So that's a good look. But aside from that, man, what's going on? Like, you wasn't here to talk a little bit about this whole election stuff that's going on, right?
Yes, my favorite topic, though.
So what's your thoughts on everything that's going on today?
Well, I got to watch the interviews last week, and very good job. I will say, Sherelle Parker, the more you hear from her, the more you see her, the more you may find some alignment with her.
Okay.
I've already spoken about my feelings on David O. I think he's solid. He's been consistent. He's
Right.
still in the streets. He's still everywhere he's
Yeah.
supposed to be. But now that Sherelle is starting to hit the streets and starting to be out, and I'm starting to hear her spill and her talking points. I've now seen her about 3 times, 2 in person,
Yeah.
and I'll say, she's likely to win,
Okay.
and
okay.
she has a solid base of support. But I do still think that David O has a very solid chance if he, you got to finish strong.
Yeah.
People really remember how you start,
Yeah.
things in the middle, and how you
Right.
finish.
That's right. That's right. I think I've been seeing him gain some momentum. Miss Parker has been in the news lately, and going viral with some of the things and some of the posts that she have been making and saying, and a lot of people are feeling a little upset about it. I think coming from a city where half of the community are Muslim. I mean, I think that really hurt, her with the stance that she took. But she cleared it up and was, saying pretty much that she's for all. She want to be, a fair and concerned for all and want peace for all. So I thought that was a good, fix, so to speak.
Fix is a word. uh, it's always tricky when you're trying to walk things back or clean something up.
Yeah.
Clean something up, because I am more inclined to believe what you said first. Now, if you start cleaning it up in the moment, if it's during the course of our conversation, you say, well, oh no, what I mean to say is, and I understand how you could have been confused, then it's one thing. It's another thing where I get to know that you got to talk to some people, some advisors
Yeah.
who may have said, you might want to say things this way.
Right.
And I don't really want to play the PR game. I want to hear your truth. And,
Right.
be honest with how you feel. Be honest with your thoughts. And you admit if you're wrong, that's growth and that's solid. Admit that you're wrong. But also, I'm going to probably believe what you say the first time. And
Yeah. And I think the frustrating thing for me is to, have this conversation with her and allow her to have that platform. Because, for me, that was really important to have people, have candidates, have anyone, tell their true story. Because she said something that was really unique in that, You know, and David Jeff Brown said this also. When it comes to our platform, at the very least, we give them the opportunity to, you know,
Yeah.
elaborate or expound upon their narratives, right?
Yeah, and that's unique for them.
Absolutely, but what was frustrating for me is she took a stance in saying that it wasn't kind of. I'm kind of paraphrasing, pretty much that it wasn't like that, right? Somebody kind of threw her a sign, but you still had a post up that says something completely different than the stance that you went live on, right? And so, how does one discern who is trying to say I want to support and vote for you, and you saying that you don't believe that, but you still have a post like that up? Do you just leave it there, or do you change it? I mean, I guess that's
Yeah,
the
because
question.
there's no, you take it down, it lives in the internet,
Yeah.
in infamy. It doesn't go
Yeah.
away. You leave it up, then it's kind of like you're still presenting that position.
Exactly.
So it's like six in one hand, half dozen in the other. What are you gonna do? I do think you take it down,
Yeah, 100%.
and you kind of, I would prefer that blowback than having it up if that's not where I'm at. If that's not what I believe, I'm taking it down.
Right.
And then I'd rather just have the conversation about why I took it down. I'd rather have the conversation about, what my thoughts are now, what I learned since I put that up, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
I don't think leaving it up is the move.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when she has a lot of friends within the Islamic community, and again, it's not pointing fingers at anyone because I don't want anyone to feel that way. I think most of us stand on the line of we want peace. We want babies to stop being killed and murdered over there. That's what we want. I think we all can agree to that, right? And so the importance of taking a side, I think that deserves more of a discourse.
Sure.
What side are you going to take? I expect those who identify as being either identify as possibly being Muslim, right, or identify with Palestinians, I can see them taking a side, right?
Sure.
If you're Jewish or you identify as that Israeli, I can see them identifying with Israel, right?
Sure.
And so you can't be mad at someone who's identifying with their own people, right?
No, of course.
So you can't get upset when you hearing, because I'm seeing a lot of vitriol on both sides, right? But I have some friends who are Jewish and they feel kind of attacked and they like and I get that. Like, they that's their they from Israel, they're Jewish. So you can't get mad at them for feeling some type of way.
Sure.
And in retrospect, it's the same thing. You can't get mad at people who have family and who has visited Palestine and, have a connection there. You can't get mad at them from saying that that's who they support.
Right.
And so I think if we truly say, well, what are the solutions to fix this vitriol, this issue? And I always point to peace.
Yeah, peace, and I would point to education. I would say
that too, yep.
we need to start at a place of recognizing how ignorant we are, the vast majority of us, about the whole totality and history of this conflict.
Right.
And we're going to keep going to October 7th. That's just today.
Right.
This goes on. We're talking decades of differing opinions and peace talks and no talks and violence and assaults and land grabs and colonialism and being forced into tight spaces and being women and children and journalists, etc., being killed, Americans being killed. So, I mean, you can take a stance. It's not my position to tell anybody what stance to take.
Right.
I just think we should also have the conversation around we don't know enough.
Yeah.
And because I see Jewish people who stand somewhere in the middle and will say it's wrong what's happening in Gaza. It's wrong what's happening to the Palestinian people. It's wrong what's what happened to my people. And I see Palestinians who have said the same thing. What happened on October 7th was wrong. That attack was wrong. Yeah. The retaliation is wrong.
Right.
So I think that's where we all should be, kind of. It's like, what's happening right now is wrong.
Wrong, period.
It's women, it's children, it's non-combatants being pulled into a war that they have no desire to be a part of.
Right. 100%. And, man, them babies, shout out to Sean King, who has been showing the other side. You love it or hate it, whatever stance you take. What we have found is that I'm very disappointed in legacy news. I'm very disappointed
I
in,
would agree.
these mainstream outlets that's only showing one side,
I would
but then
agree.
pointing fingers to people like a Sean King or people like a Myson and the other side of the media that are showing you what's actually happening and they're on the ground.
Yeah, what's interesting is you can, from my perspective, you can not rely on legacy media with respect to this. You could find more well-rounded information on YouTube
Yeah.
than you're going to get from legacy media on this topic. I mean, I tune into Fox News to see. I just like to see all that to
I do
talk.
that too.
And like even Fox is taking a very strong and specific stance. I was surprised. I didn't know what stance they would take, but I was surprised because I thought they would just always go against
Yeah.
whatever the president's doing. And they still and very much are, but I thought they would make sure they're not finding any alignment.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting that it's very one-sided versus I'm telling you, you just YouTube it. If I open my YouTube right now, like every other one is going to be a Palestine Israel comment because that's where I'm getting more well-rounded on the ground
right.
type of information.
Yeah. Al Jazeera. Shout out to Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera, they, the Turks, they're showing,
Turks, yep.
the Young Turks, they're showing, the different sides, the different angles of the discourse, the challenges. And that's what we need, when we talk about what are solutions, when we talk solutions based, you can't come up with a solution if it's just one-sided.
Exactly.
It doesn't work that way. Yeah.
I mean, you figure we've been given hundreds of billions to Israel.
Yeah. Constantly.
And years ago on another program, I asked because I was truly ignorant. I'm like, why do we do it? This is when President Obama was in office, and he signed a budget that sent money to Israel, and I didn't understand what we got back for it. So I'm like, what are we giving $1 billion? What do we get back? Oh, it's strategic intelligence. Well, their intelligence doesn't seem to be that great.
Yeah.
So I'm still on the fence
Yeah.
there trying to understand why we were. And this, if we're going to support our ally now, whatever, but why we haven't given them so much money when we look at our home and we don't see that same type of investment. So I will always go back to, like we want to say, let's put Philly first.
Yeah.
I'm saying we can invest in all these other wars, but let's invest in home at
Let's
the
invest in
same
home.
type of intention and veracity that we're investing outside of home.
100%, 100%. And one of the things that I constantly say also is why I am so hard on our elected officials, especially in Philadelphia, is because when we talk about accountability, right, you can't petition for your constituents. You can't petition to have your constituents vote for you. But then when you hear your constituents crying out saying that they have an issue, you ignore that. And so you have to ask yourself, why are people so angry when you telling them to go out to vote?
Right.
And they don't see their civic investment that they made in you, right? They don't see that. And so when people don't see the numbers that you are asking to see in terms of voter outcome, there's a reason why. And a lot of people say you speak loudly when you don't speak at all.
Yes. Silence can be the loudest answer.
100%.
It's like you're saying, ROI. What is our return on our investment in
right.
you? I see signs that we got this person or that person's back. I don't see that I should have a politician's back. I
Exactly.
see that I'm putting a politician in a position so that they can have my back.
Right.
And my community's back. So that's why you earn my vote. Because you're earning my faith based on your promises and what your actions have been. And so you garnered my vote. Or you're getting another vote from me for another a period because you have already shown and proved that you're going to be doing X, Y, and Z, and I
Right.
know I can rely on you and you hear me.
Right.
So what's my return on investment? That's the question I have for all the politicians. What do I get for voting for you? Yes, this is a transaction.
Right.
This is
Exactly.
very transactional. What do I
Exactly.
get back for voting for you?
But I don't think people ask that question,
should be
right?
asking that.
We should be asking that question. I think what generally happens is there's a lot of shaking hand, kissing babies,
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of promises that's put out there, and the emotions
A lot of
of
feelings.
this is who this person is, and so we gotta support.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with that, especially if we vote for that person and we don't see the return on investment, so to
Exactly.
speak, right?
Yep.
And so you coming from a background in, civics and civic engagement and politics, what do you think we can do as a community, as Philadelphians, to start to truly hold them accountable? Because we use that term all the time, accountability, but how do we hold them accountable? I was in city council not too long ago, and I see people going in city council, they yell a couple times, and city council act like they're not even there, right? So if you're saying that you have to use your voice to hold them accountable, and that's not working because we still had the same stuff, we still had the same policies, still had the same conversations, right? That happen over and over and over again, then what's the other way to hold them accountable?
I think it's very difficult outside of election seasons to hold politicians accountable because once they're in, they're in.
Yeah.
And so they have their term that they get to finish unless their peers vote them out or do something to kick them off of a committee or something along those lines. And so it's very hard to hold a politician that is in office accountable, I think. But it's when we get to vote again if we determine that we're going to vote for them or not. That's the means of holding them accountability. Where I do think we have a power to hold accountability is by holding the party accountable. One thing that we could start talking about more is the Democratic Party and the Republican Party.
Oh, gosh.
The money that goes to them,
Right.
the power that they have with ward leaders and committee members. And that's where we can have much more power. Those are our neighbors.
Right.
And those are the people that are actually asking you for the money. And then they filter that money to the politicians a lot of times. And of course, you could give a politician money directly,
Right.
but that's where these PACs come in. And so that's where I think we have more power and control, is because very few politicians do not have a master. Most politicians, whether they were admitted in public or not, have a master, which is their party.
Right.
And if you find yourself outside of lockstep with your party, then you see the Democratic Party will hold a candidate accountable. They won't give you no money. And so now it's all on you to do grassroots fundraising, and that'll tell you if you had a grassroots support or not. But 9 times out of 10, you're relying on the Democratic Party more so than you're relying on grassroots.
Interesting that you say that. And the reason I say why it's interesting is because we had the opportunity last week to have David O on the show, right? And so what happened was he talked a lot about kissing the ring, so to speak, right? About being able to have or make choices without feeling he's pushed in a certain narrative, so he can make his own kind of like way, his own decisions, right? And so because of that, when you say that their quote unquote master, right, is the party, it reminds me of the position that David O took, right? That if you have a certain agenda yourself that you want to go in, if your party don't want you to do that, then how can you truly affect change if your party is saying, well, I don't really want to worry about that issue or worry about that topic right now. We got other things that we need to listen to, right? And so if we talk accountability, just bringing this full circle, How can we hold a politician accountable whose party want them to think of something else when they truly may be interested, right, in supporting or jumping on a particular objective or agenda, but they can't because their party want them to so-called kiss the ring, so to speak.
Yeah, well, in that scenario, when they are aligned with us, how we hold them accountable is by supporting them and showing them that they can be independent of their political party.
Right.
And so we can still all be Democrats, but we're going to show you that you, say David O, we're all Republicans, let's say David O,
Right.
you don't have to be in lockstep with Donald Trump because you have the grassroots support, so you don't need the financial backing of the Republican Party.
Right.
We have you. You have 1 million people supporting you, we all give you $2. You got enough, you got ads right there. So that's how we could hold them accountable when they're aligned with us and they want to be unaligned with their political party. But when it's a person who is just morally more about the position and power, it's a good paycheck, y'all. We're talking a minimum of, well, I think state reps don't get 100K yet. But for the most part, most of them are getting well over 100K. So it's a pretty good salary plus all the perks and benefits, right?
Gotcha.
So you would want to stay in that position when you get to pretty much make your own schedule, be your own boss, show up to some meetings once in a while, wear a suit.
Right.
You know, that's pretty classy gig. You know, so
no
it's
doubt.
something that I think a lot of we see, especially in positions where there's no term limits.
Right.
We see a lot of people very comfortable. So yeah, they'll just be in lockstep. But I think we grab onto the fresher politicians, or we grab onto the politicians that are clearly loud and not in lockstep with the party.
Right.
The one that's cutting their eyes, the whole party standing on stage delivering a message, and you got one cutting their eyes. You got to watch the ones in the background. Don't watch the one that's talking. And that's the ones we should be supporting.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, the $100 question,
But I
$1,000
don't know.
question.
I really don't know.
Who is it? Right? We don't know.
I don't know how to make them truly accountable, and I don't know,
I know,
who
right?
the he, she, there, them is.
I know that's right. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want you to go anywhere. When we come back, we have a dynamic interview coming to us, someone with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. We're going to talk a lot about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about, some things and how to move the community
We talked
forward.
about ROI.
Absolutely. Return on your investment. We're going to talk a little bit about how to hold these people accountable, how to hold yourself accountable, how to push the community forward. So we'll be right back after this, y'all.
What's going on, you guys? This is Bridget Kelly, and you are locked into We Talk Weekly.
Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This your boy Charles Gregory. We Talk Weeklies After the Talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies After the Talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Lawrence
and my guy.
Daryl Smith Jr.
And we have someone with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. So without further ado, you know how we do it. Sizzle, why don't you let us know who do we have today?
So we have the multi-talented Mr. Lakay Lonjewel. Did I say that?
Laquay
Look-
Lonjewel.
Look, see, I
Bonjour.
like how you said it.
Bonjour. You need a dish
I
named
can't-
after you,
I
my
know,
friend.
I can't even duplicate that. Lakay Lonjewel.
Lonjou, that sounds like a
Oh,
champagne.
man, I love that.
We're gonna talk- yeah, no
yes,
doubt, yeah,
yes,
no
it's,
doubt.
it's so it's dope. He is the Global Economic Development Executive Officer, Chief Economist for the Marcus Garvey Institute of Human Development, and is the owner of Lonjewel Holdings and Enterprises, CEO of Ibada
Yes.
International, and managing partner of Obsidian Elite Investment Association.
Excellent.
So, Obsidian Elite Investment Association is a financial education association. In addition to financial education for members, they provide exclusive access to private partnership opportunities for micro investment. The target general membership are working class and middle income Americans that seek to improve their personal financial position through the sharing of knowledge and exclusive opportunity. So he's also done a whole bunch of other amazing things. He was the former Marine Corps captain, international businessman and entrepreneur, a professional business development and political consultant with a degree in international economics from Stockton University, trained in civil engineering and information technology from the USMC. And he also studied international business law at Seton Hall University, and he's here with us today. So let's give a warm We Talk Weekly welcome to Mr. LaQuay Longueuil.
How are you, my friend? How are you?
Naja.
Okay. So I want to jump right into it, man. Like, you know, you have a lot of where do we start? I mean, your CV speaks for itself, right? You have been everywhere doing everything.
And I left some stuff out because it's extensive. So.
No doubt. So let's talk a little bit let's start from the beginning and you know, your business acumen and your business foundation. Where did that come from to start building and doing some of the things you have been doing by way of business? And then let's talk international, because you're doing some stuff like that also. So
Quite honestly, my journey did not begin probably as most people might think, where you just went to school, you were very good at something, you learned how to do it, and you just pursued your dreams. My background is a metaphysical spiritualist, and I've been this way since a child.
Metaphysical spiritualist. Okay.
In layman terms and other traditions, they would call that a shaman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So, but I'm able to function in civilization and society.
Okay.
All right. So that gave me a interest in looking at things from a broader view. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that I had a talent when it came to finance and economics until I went to college. I was debating between political science and economics, and one of my professors one day just said, "What are you doing in that class? You should be in here." And I don't know why. And he pulled me into an economics class, you know, in the beginning when you first go to college, and you just, you know, those classes that everybody has to be in, and you're like falling asleep there, right? And he's going over supply and demand curves and charts and so forth. And I'm going like this, look, nodding out. So he just wants to, embarrass some people, and he calls me and he says, "Well, what do you think is going to happen here to price?" And I said, "Excuse me." And I looked. Supply went down, demand went up, price went up. And then he's like, "Oh." And then he just goes and just keeps going. It's like this mental spar that takes place. And then at the end of the whole class, it's like, you need to be an economist. And that's kind of how I found my trade.
Okay.
Most of the things that I'm doing business-wise right now are kind of from a scientific standpoint as to what and my pension, my focus is the African community. I'm a global African.
Yeah.
I'm not a Pan-African. I'm not a black nationalist. I'm a global African.
Okay. So what does that, before you go forward, explain what that means, right?
Global African.
Global African.
I am not tied to the continent of Africa, nor am I tied to the United States diaspora or the Caribbean or South America or even parts of Asia where you find melanated people.
Right.
We are all from the same source.
Gotcha.
And we are all treated with the same negative competition.
Yeah.
We are the dominant number, we are the dominant force, and we have the dominant resources. What we don't have is the dominant organization. Right? In order to create that, you have to create an economy. So wouldn't you call a group of people that are organized, that's an economy?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, that's the talent, that's what we have to master now. That's what we have to figure out. How do we collaborate without no rivalry? Mm-hmm. How do we work together within the confines so that everyone eats? And we keep it that way for a very long time.
Right.
No drama. Keep everything in line. We have this in our historical context. We've done this before as a civilization and as a people. The planet needs us to step forward. because whatever's happening on the outside that you can all attest to,
Right.
yeah, we're going 90 miles an hour into a brick wall. We need to do something different. And if they can't change their minds, we need to change ours.
All right. So, because in context, right, I want to make sure that we expound upon the we, right?
Do we?
The we, because the we may not necessarily be inclusive to others that may be a detriment to us, right? And so when you're saying that we need to make sure that
Family.
okay,
Family.
family who? Explain it.
Melanated people.
There we go. That's what I
Family.
wanted to hear. Okay.
Yeah, family.
Cool.
Right? But understand this. We're moving capital.
Right.
We're in business. We provide services and products to the world.
Right.
Other people may be our customers, and they also may be invested with us. What's important is that it is our agenda, right? And our agenda is the proliferation and continuation of a positive lifestyle for our family, first and foremost. And everyone has the same agenda. Every other person, every other people on this planet have the same agenda. It's nothing outside of the ordinary. We're late to the party.
It's hard to disagree with this. It's hard to disagree with that. I think that it's the understanding of what is the same page, right?
The same page is health,
Right.
wealth, and the pursuit of happiness.
Simple, right?
Right? What are you
Simple,
talking
yeah.
about? Like, yo, you live and you good. We good. That's what it needs to be.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
You know, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
If everybody's eating all the violence, all that's done. We ain't got no problems. I'd rather have, and this is what we say, this is one of our mottos, I'd rather have 1 million people with $10,000 than one person with $10 billion.
Hello. We say that all the time. Yeah, collective economics, absolutely. Before you became who you were, you had people who preceded you.
Right.
I want you to talk a little bit about those people, right, who shaped you and molded you to be who you are today. Because you come from, if I'm not mistaken, AC, right?
From AC.
There you go, from AC,
from
right?
AC.
So you come from AC.
I literally just came from it. From a family event.
Shout out to AC, right?
I'm gonna shout out to my little cousin Adonis. She made it into med school. You go,
fantastic.
girl.
Yeah,
I
good
I
job.
wasn't able to see you on your celebration. Much love. Congratulations.
I love that. I love that. We need more people like that.
Yes.
And so, who you are today, right? I love to give flowers or pay homage to people who actually shape who we are, right?
Yeah.
But also give the flowers to the people who took that baton and ran with it, right? And now paying it forward, right? So
Yeah.
I want to start there. The people who molded you, and then who you are essentially not necessarily passing a baton, but at the very least, who are you leaving your legacy?
Okay. So I'm just gonna do one as far as who shaped me.
Okay.
And it's combo, so you get 2 for 1. Obviously, it has to be mother, right?
Right.
Has to be mother. My father and my mother were not together, and she was a teenage mother. So my mother raised me. But within my family, which was a tribe, there were men and women who also helped to raise me. I have multiple mothers, and I have had multiple fathers. So I didn't lack for anything. But there were people in my family that I gravitated towards. And I saw one of them tonight, and I think my Aunt Jack is probably in her 80s, and, her mind is going. And she hadn't seen me. The second she saw me, she just lit up like a light bulb. And she just starts talking about things I did when I was a child. And I remember she went to Senegal, which is where I live now.
Right.
And that's how I first started learning about Africa, because they would go on these trips in the summers to go to Africa and bring things back and talk about it, and they were part of the movement. So she was one of those people that you just had this intrinsic love for. And whatever she loved, I loved. And that put me on the path to learning my history. My mom reinforced it by, letting me see Eyes on the Prize at a very young age, seeing a lot of documentaries and information. By the time I got to school, I was telling the teacher, "Nah, that ain't right. That's not how it happened."
Right.
And I stayed that way.
Okay.
So those are the things that have shaped me. Obviously, the scholars in terms of Dr. John Henry Clark, Ivan Van Sertima, there's people who are still alive, Claude Anderson, Boyce Watkins. There are many leaders that I've read their books, I've
Right.
met them, and so on and so forth, and they've helped to shape my understanding of our community and what we need to do. And one of the main things that we need to do now as a people is we have to understand that we have to look at a very much strategic international way. We have access to resources in Africa. And I'll say it like this, right? Are you guys are old enough to remember Flintstones?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So remember, like, we used to do slang where if, like, do you want a little piece or do you want a big piece or do you want a Fred Flintstone piece, right? Right? So we're chasing the bag here in America. And when I say we, all generations, that dollar's up here like this and we going like that and we just keep doing like that. And then when we got it, we don't even know what to really even do with it. Right. It's almost like it's a magical thing, how other people have money. But it's not. All we have to do is figure out how to come together, pool our money, and take over an industry. The very first industry necessary. This is when you say, well, where's the blueprint? This is economic blueprint, what I'm about to tell you. How we go from our current situation to the next level. We have to feed ourselves. And I'm sorry that it sounds so simple. But everything that you ate today, I'm pretty sure you don't know from what hand it went to this one, to this one. And I could guarantee you there was very few of those hands that were black.
I would probably agree with you probably 75%.
Okay.
Only because now, especially as it relates to We Talk Weekly, it's the reason why you're here. We're very intentional with our people, right? And making sure that we support our people and the things that they're doing, right?
Very
And so
good.
if you're growing, I want some of that fruit that you're growing. You're a black farmer.
Understood.
I want to know because I want a piece of that, right? I drink this new mushroom coffee, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Made by
What's that, Rise?
Right, yes. Black man, right? And so for me, we're very intentional with that. However, I get your point because a lot of times we don't know. We just buy. And the algorithm knows that black folks do this. Buy. Put it on your timeline. You like it, you buy it. Why? Because I already know what you're going to like. So I'm going to throw that on your timeline, right? However, the work that you're doing, right? The work that you're doing when it comes to supporting that idea, right, of our people to know what we're doing and know where we're getting it from, how do we reinforce our understanding with that, right? Because, example, we buy these phones, right? It's a lot of conversation about where the batteries come from, especially when we talk about
The
iPhones,
Congo.
right? Yeah, the Congo, right?
Congo.
It's killing and hurting a lot of people over there, primarily kids, right? Because we want these iPhones. What do we do to make sure that our people are educated on exactly some of the things that you're talking about? Where does your food come from? Where is it changing hands? And how to make sure that we target those people as a collective to make sure and hold each other accountable for doing it, right? So how do we do that?
That's a huge question, brother. Let's just talk about the Congo for a second.
There we go.
And focus, right? The Congo is a real life existing penal colony and enslavement colony. It's been that way for 50 years now. The only reason why this is are we ready to do anything about it? Let me ask you that question. Are we ready to do something really about it?
Is that a rhetorical question? Or are you asking me?
No, because what it would really take to stop that
Right.
is political pressure, breaking things,
Right.
breaking things.
Got you.
This is going to stop, and then you put money for it, and then you go and you make it stop, right? There are executive teams that are able to go in there and bring peace. You've got UN, you've got many people from the cabal that are there protecting their interests.
That part.
Right? And unless you're ready to have that fight, and we're not ready to have that fight, we have to keep it moving and build strength. Right. And that's just the reality. Mm-hmm. How we got into this situation is not being militarily ready.
Right. Yeah.
So now what's important for us to do is to be economically ready.
I'm gonna read this quote. I have opened a pharmaceutical extract company there with the focus on extracting various plants extracts for therapeutic and medicinal purposes. Let's talk a little bit about
Ibadah International.
that's right, about international. That's your company, right?
Yes, it is.
So let's talk a little bit about that and the why behind creating something like that, and how can we find out more about that and support, and what is your end goal with that?
So Ibadah International is a separate project. It is also part of the Obsidian Elite family. It is one of the micro investments that was able to raise money directly from the membership. So that is a farm in Senegal, West Africa, in Chess region, right outside in a place called Mangite Tukulor. Okay, that's the village nearby, and that's where our land is. So you really have to kind of like go up into the bush, and the only way for you to really see it is from satellite to look down at it. We have hemp and saffron as the major products that we intend on producing there.
Interesting. Yeah.
We can do roughly 3,000 kilograms of CBD distillate every 2 months in production. I don't know, if you do the math real quick, with the current price, because the price has fluctuated, we could probably do somewhere around 1.5 every 2 months, roughly.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That company has
That's great,
a group of
actually.
people who are invested directly, but that investment has been closed. We now have open investment specifically from Emerald Elite Acquisitions, which is our holding company, which is a part of Obsidian, which is owned by the membership. So the idea here is members of Obsidian Elite Investment Association are invited to involve themselves in a preliminary first step investment for them to kind of like test the waters. We do that as a twofold benefit for the purpose of our agenda, which is we need to raise at least $3 billion. $3 billion will get us a separate supply chain specifically focused on agriculture that we'd be able to circulate between West Africa, Southern Africa, the Caribbean, South America, and the United States. And then that would give us a circle of money because we'd be circulating internationally, and if we follow the plans that we intend on doing here in the U.S. as well, we need to increase circulation, our circulation rate. So if you can imagine, any community should not have anything greater than 20% external capital flight, where money is leaving their community. Imagine you had 80%, like you lost 20% of your blood. You're about to go into shock.
Yeah.
You're having seizures. This is our community. This is what our community is. And we're not even at 80%. We're losing 99% of all money coming into our community. 1.5 hours, dollar enters our community, it goes bye-bye. That's how bad we're hemorrhaging and bleeding. And we've been doing it for years, and we think it's normal. This is an acute misunderstanding of economy that our community has on all levels. We don't need to be figuring out how we can be like the Federal Reserve and create this of our own. We need to be designing a new system that works to our benefit, that works with our culture, according to our rules. We have the resources. What are we waiting for? How much do we spend on food, cosmetics, hair care, et cetera, all of that? Roughly $400 billion. We can't divert $3 billion to build something so that we can recapture some of that money?
Wow, Darren, I see you back there thinking,
it's just because I mean, while what I'm hearing sounds good, I don't see the space where our people, our family, has the right now ability to undo decades of miseducation and disinvestment and intentional separations and implanting immigrants into specific communities, giving them grants to start stores and to open businesses in predominantly black and brown communities, and not investing in the same way in black and brown small business owners. I just don't know. Like, even when you're talking about hemp, I'm like, hemp is a superior product, right? It's better for the environment.
It's a super product.
Right. But ultimately, I'm like, how much money do you need to combat just the plastic industry alone to be able to really put hemp in the forefront? So I guess where I'm getting at is,
Well,
how are you going to fight?
So let me say one in the analysis. Thank you very much for that. But it was a very American-centered analysis.
Sure, yeah, I'm American. I'm here.
How many people are on the continent?
Of America? Of the
Africa.
United States? Of Africa? I can't tell you.
Yeah, close to 2 billion.
Okay. But 2 billion, 2 billion, a continent that is segregated.
It has borders, but they just took down all of the trade barriers. Inter-African trade is now free.
Okay.
We have a unique political opportunity, brother.
Okay.
We have a unique position because we're flush with capital, whether we realize it or not. We're fat. We have capital out the yin. We don't know how to invest it. We don't know where to invest it. We don't know how to move it. We're not savvy. If we was basketball, we doing all like
But
that.
that's my point. We don't have. So how?
No,
do
no,
we
not that
get
we
it?
don't have.
We
We're
lack
talking
the-
expertise. We're talking expertise.
Okay.
I'm not talking we don't have, like we don't have the means.
Right.
I'm saying the expertise.
Right.
We're floundering the means. We're spending it. We're sending it out, but we're spending it. We're not cultivating it because we don't know how to cultivate it.
Sure.
Okay? As a group, many individuals do. What we have to look at now, like I said with the analogy for him, we have an opportunity to take the capital that we have and Fred Flintstone it in Africa to give us greater influence and power to dictate in our environments here. And we have the ability to reap a reward in ROI as the primary financiers and funders of it.
Okay.
It's solid.
So I guess where I'm getting at is, how do you get people on board? How do we re-educate?
How many? Re-educate is just a process. You start, and whenever you finish, you finish. How do we get people on board? How many?
How many people?
Yeah, how many we need?
We need at least 500,000.
Thank you. There's little girls that I know that are on TikTok, Instagram, and they got 2 million followers, and they're not
Okay.
doing nothing but
All right.
da-da-da-da-da. I have quite a few celebrities that are with us. We have a block of companies in New Jersey that we're going to be supporting. I don't want to say any of the celebrities' names, but since I've been back to the United States, I've been doing deals, right? What we just did in South Africa is unheard of. We are to my knowledge, now I can be wrong, but somebody hit me back after I said it before, I might be the first African-American diasporan to do a treaty with an African king.
Okay.
The cousins of the Zulu, the Bakalakoi. They have entrusted us to develop 6,000 hectares of land over the next 15 years at a reasonable split between us. And then after that, it flip-flops and where they become the majority partner. And we train the people how to run the industry. And we're still partners in perpetuity.
Oh, okay. Can you please let everybody know what in perpetuity means?
Yeah.
Forever.
That's right. Read
Generation
your
to
terms and
generation.
agreements.
So, I have, like you guys said, I've been everywhere.
Yeah.
I've been preparing to do this. I was raised to do this, what I'm doing. I'm just stepping into what my purpose is. And my purpose
There you
is, my purpose is for you. Right? And, we have to get to a point where we're not afraid to trust one another and to take a chance. See, what we're asking for is a little, like a diabetes prick of an investment. One time. Just make sure you have a unit. Make sure you're a prime member in Obsidian Elite and you're a prime member in Emerald. We'll get the $3 billion and I guarantee you, we would have done a sea change in the economic community. Because how did they do that? Black people did that. I don't care how politically correct it sounds. They're going to say that, and they're probably going to say other words as well.
Yeah. So, Daryl, did you want to follow that up? Because it looks like you do because I want you to
can
be
go
able
because
to.
I don't want to just get into. I don't want to seem negative because that's not where my mind is.
Yeah.
I'm just more of not hopeless. Absolutely not. I just wanted to hear more about. I mean, I can talk about my peer group, right? I can talk about my generation, and I can talk about my elders. But what I see in some of the youth, they don't see the same we that we're
That's
talking
right,
about.
yeah.
They don't see the same family that we're talking about. They don't. So I'm wondering how it could transfer. Like I'm hearing this singing the song in my ear. I'm already on the website, right? But 25 and younger, 24, 22 and younger, when I interact with them, they want money now and not for the purpose of building a greater community because they don't see community in the same way. Their struggles are not the same struggles. So I'm just trying to get something, I guess, out of you that the youth could hear that would make, or how we could bring the youth into it because
Galvanize
that's
them,
where the
pump
money
it.
is.
Yeah, that's where the energy is. Yep.
Well, the youth, I'm not sure if the youth that you're talking about is the youth I'm about to speak on, but I will. If it isn't, then I'll address that as well. But one thing we did talk about today, right, Dwayne, we talked about the college campuses. And we have a weekly meeting every Saturday. We talked about the college campuses. And I just had an appearance at Stockton University, which is my alma mater, and it was wonderful. And I had all of these young people sending me their resumes. And I'm like, oh, man, I could definitely use that talent, for real. Because it's not easy to find people that are in a professional arena these days that aren't going to charge you like this.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And you can't really, that means I need more capital. You understand? It makes you have to do that, and I definitely need the services. So if you do this, then I can get to that. It's changed since the last deal we just did, but that's really the down and dirty of how you kind of build the company and what you have to go through. So in my opinion, the youth that you are referring to would be like just a regular everyday. My son is one of those. He's what now, 33? My middle child is 24, and I got a 3-year-old.
I'm sorry, brother. You just said you got a 33-year-old son?
I'm 52.
I don't want to put that number on you, brother.
Yeah, I'm 52.
Yeah, because when you said 33,
Real
kind of
doubt.
math.
Yeah.
Did.
Yeah, I'm 52.
Okay, good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I want to jump back into real quick because you're talking about investments, right? And you're talking about our people. So how can somebody, because you're saying what's the call, right? We can't necessarily do calls or actions here, right? But what would be the marching orders for someone to say, okay, well, you're saying X, Y, and Z. How do I participate, or how do I get more information? How would that happen?
Go to obsidianelite.org.
Okay.
Just be and how do I participate? Become a member. Membership is free. Right? We have a Wealth Academy in which we are going to teach financial education on various levels, the same way you heard me speaking just now, but in a very, very detailed fashion. We need to have a real pure understanding of what this is and not someone else's perspective, the perspective that makes sense for what we need to do. Right? So we have to be very frank and honest with one another. If this is not one of those kind of financial literacy education things where we focus on taxation tricks and little, secret this and secret, that's not us. We're macroeconomics. We're group economics.
Okay.
This is what preserves the environment in which we live. If we continue to pursue an individualistic viewpoint, we're going to wither and die and continue to do so. And we get refreshed every generation. This generation deserves a better turn. Right? We need to move beyond the economic hurdle. Once we enter into the area of wealth development globally for African people, the size of our wealth will supersede everyone else on the planet.
I agree with that. Real quick, let me do this ID check real quick. We talk weeklies after the talk on WPP MLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We talk weeklies after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Lawrence.
and my guy
Daryl Smith Jr.
Yes. And I want to jump right back into it real quick because I love what you're saying. We have someone who threw a question out there. You talked about Africa and building in Africa. We have Liberty Twitch said, what are you going to develop on that land? Which is a great question.
On the 24 acres or
Yeah,
the 15,000, which one?
He
one in
didn't.
South Africa?
Yeah,
One
I
in
think
South
South African land. Yeah.
Yeah, so
This is somebody that's watching live. They just
no problem.
You know.
Yeah, so we have 6,000 hectares for the Health and Wellness Master Plan. That is the name of the treaty that we signed. We have 5,000 hectares that are specifically for other agricultural products, and then 1,000 hectares that is dedicated specifically towards cannabis. Because of the returns that we would be able to generate, we have 10 million square meters of production that we can do on that 1,000 hectares, right? That's minimum 7.5 billion in revenue. That's a global supply chain.
Right.
We would be able to supply for the whole planet.
Well, what we're going to do, we ran out of time that quick, but what we're going to do, we're going to have you back on because we need to talk a little bit more because I want to get into hemp. A lot of people don't know about hemp too much, but I want to get into hemp and just how great it is for the environment. But also what you're talking about, we have over now, our audit says that we have over 2 million viewers, you know, that's paying attention to us, right? That we have access to on our Facebook. That's outside of YouTube and the radio and all that. And on the radio, we have over 250,000 households that we reach out to, in addition to Comcast and Verizon, right? And so when we talk about our outreach and talking to the community, I think it's very important that we galvanize people who look like us and support people who look like us.
Absolutely.
We have a young lady that's about to come on that has a dynamic product. We can't do calls to action here, but her product is amazing. And I don't say that lightly because I'm very critical. But when someone has a unique product that's coming from our people, we need to get on and support it, right?
Absolutely.
So if what you're doing is something that's going to benefit our people, that's something that we need to get out and support. And so what we'll do is we'll have Sheila. I know you're flying, you're global, right? All of Africa and going around. But the next time you're in Philadelphia, we have to find another time that you can come back and talk more, because I think what happens, which I always sit on, my soapbox as it relates to, they say that I preach a lot, and I do when it comes to our people, but I think why the arts are so important in platforms like us is because I can almost guarantee you wouldn't be able to have the context and the platform that you're having right now on our show on any other legacy outlet. And the reason for that is because they have their own kind of like initiatives and agendas for that. When I talk about how we support our people, we need platforms like ours, which are within the arts, to be able to give platforms to you to talk to the community, to have access, and to make sure that our people know what they should be doing.
Right.
Or at the very least, other options.
That's right.
It's
We
the
always need
options.
options, right? Lord, gotta have options.
Gotta have options, right? And I
Yes.
think that's the thing. We may have access to options, but we don't know that we have the options. And I think that's where we fallen short with.
And
when it comes
sometimes
to
those
that.
options can come from us,
Yeah.
not somebody else.
Yeah, there you go. But that's what I'm saying.
God bless the child, got his own.
There
right?
you go.
Yes.
But if we don't know, we can't support those options, right?
Understood.
And so that said, I'd like to thank you for coming out. How can they get in contact with you and know more about you for right now? And thanks for coming out, my brother. Yeah.
So definitely go to www.obsidianelite, OBSIDIAN, elite.org, or you can go to LaQuay Longewell, at LaQuay Longewell on IG, or at Obsidian Elite on IG. And that leads you to every other thing that we have, whether it be on LinkedIn, Facebook, or whatever.
Yeah, fantastic. Real quick. I just want you to talk a little bit about hemp. Just so people can kind of just talk a little bit about hemp real quick.
All right, so hemp is the primary product that was used for the past 12,000 years for clothing and other things that are built in the community. We've had this plant with us for millennia. It became the subject of the war on drugs with Harvey Anslinger, who just made all cannabis illegal. Up until that time, clothes was made out of hemp. The original car was meant to be made out of actually hemp, and as well as the fuel that was going to fuel it. Obviously, Mr. Rockefeller wasn't too appreciative of that. He won the battle, and our cars were fueled by oil, and we are where we are today. Hemp has CBD, which is a health additive that you need to help you triage dead cells in your body. It is a mood enhancement in which if you took at least 100 milliliters of CBD daily, you're going to be in a good mood, right? If you have a stressful job, this is something that you need to have. And it should be regular, and it's not a big deal. And also hemp is what you can use for construction purposes, all manner. I don't know if it's BMW or Mercedes who I think they're using hemp now for the internal consoles of the cars instead of plastics. So hemp is one of the plants that has the highest amount of cellulose, so you can literally turn it into a plastic.
Unbelievable. I mean, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the reason why you guys need to start looking into hemp. It's like a super product. Like it's a amazing product. I can't even just use textiles because it's bigger than that, right? And so it's something to look into. And we're gonna have you back on the show, my brother. I appreciate you for coming in. You got one last word for the people?
I really appreciate you guys having me tonight. What's going on in Philadelphia and worldwide. Check us out at ibadah.us if you want to learn about our farm in Senegal. We are going to share a worldwide message from the King of the Bakalakoi, announcing some of the movements forward, because we are not only going to be doing the health and wellness master plan for the kingdom, we will be helping them to erect their financial system.
Fantastic. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Laquay Lanjuel. Did I say it right?
You said it perfect.
There you go. You need like a bottle. You need to come up with a drink or something.
Yes, like
No doubt. Well, I don't want you guys to go anywhere. When we come back, we have someone with whom I have a tremendous amount of respect for. We're going to talk a little bit about Brooklyn Sky. All right, don't go nowhere. We'll be right back, y'all. We Talk Weeklies After the Talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies After the Talk, y'all.
What's going on, you guys? This is Bridget Kelly, and you are locked into We Talk Weekly.
Weeklies After the Talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies After the Talk. And as you see, we had this show was jam-packed. We had a lot of conversation. I had to keep pulling on a commercial because we had to try to, finish some business. I think, what's important is that we really highlight and amplify those who are doing some things in the community. I think it's just way too important. And oftentimes some of these people don't get amplified the way that they should, especially as it relates to legacy media. And it's not that, not to point any finger at them. It's just that they have other things that they want to amplify, right? And so that leaves platforms like We Talk Weekly to be able to amplify those people. And I'm happy to amplify this young lady. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So without further ado, Sizzle, who do we have today?
So we have the founder of Brooklyn Sky Collection, Miss Laurencia Burt. She struggled with homelessness as a child, where her and her father sometimes slept in churches and even in their car. This fueled her passion to become a social worker as an adult. She wanted to be the person she needed as a child. She went on to get married and have children and thrive. Just when Laurencia thought that life's traumas were over, she was sexually assaulted at work. Due to the way in which she was treated by her company, and after reporting the assault, Laurencia decided she needed to build a brand so that her children and others would never be stuck in an unhealthy, toxic, or unkind work environment. Thus, Brooklyn Sky Collection was born. Due to her resilience and hard work, she was able to get her products in GNC stores. She did this by simply walking into a store and pitching her products with no prior knowledge of retail and no previous relationship with the company. This shows her determination to win. Laurencia has done extensive research to understand the autonomy of skin and the best practices for glow-worthy skincare. The Brooklyn Sky Skincare collection features ingredients that can easily be understood, so there's no second guessing your choice to use the products. This collection features healthy and chemical-free items for every part of your body. Welcome to the show, Miss Laurencia Burt.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Let me bring her right on. How are you? How
Hello.
are you?
Oh my goodness, that's an amazing intro. I'm like, who is that person? She sounds amazing. Thank you so much for having
Yes.
me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us.
So I'm gonna jump right into it. What got you started with, this fine? No, all right. So we can get into the product. Let's talk about you, right? And what
Oh Lord.
inspired you to, yeah, because I like to start with humanizing,
Yes.
the people that's here, right? Not just the product, because you're bigger than the product, right? And
Okay.
so I'm
Yes.
gonna
Yes.
talk a little bit about you and what got you started in, just the idea, the concept of, I have an idea. I think I need to build something and produce something, and this is what it's going to be. So I want you to, give us a snapshot of your life story moving into where you are today.
Okay. Okay. Just to kind of bring things in full context in a very quick moment, right? So it was my mother that we were living in churches, not my father, but just having that experience as a young child, having to um, trying to understand, homelessness is still having to maneuver through that and still go to school and with my younger siblings, it was quite a bit. But my mother always showed us the tenacity. I never knew it was that bad until I got older to really understand the context of that. But what she taught us was so much bigger than that, and I think that's what I carry till to this day, which is resiliency. Um, what kind of moved me into the skincare world is like you heard my backstory. Having a really traumatic experience at a place of work. I wasn't even there 90 days when this occurred. It happened to me, and just by profession, I'm a licensed clinical social worker. So I'm doing community. I've been doing this for 22 years, and so for this to happen, I've already dealt with previous history of being um, sexually, inappropriately touched as a young child and things like that, and deal with this at this point in my life, being married, with kids and things. It was a lot. But in that moment, it really taught me, hey, I cannot allow my children to be in this place, but also myself and even my family members and whoever I come in contact. So what branched out from there, I started actually a day spa, y'all, which is crazy, here in Atlanta, Georgia, and started with that. But a pivotal moment happened within 6 months that I had the day spa in Atlanta. A friend of mine who is an influencer, I was just creating like a product. This I wouldn't even think about products. I was thinking about doing services. I'm be doing this esthetician thing, and that's what I'm moving to. But God had bigger and better for me. I just didn't know it yet. And so I made this coffee sugar scrub. That's where I started.
Okay.
And her followers was just they were so intrigued. They said, "Where can we buy this product from?" And I can't say what I was going to say because we on live radio.
Mhm.
But she said she'll have it up tonight. I said, I ain't got no products, girl, but another way. And she said, you're gonna have it up tonight. So I literally had to scramble and create, and that's what kind of sparked saying, hey, I may be onto something. And then from there, I really start, doing pop-up shops and then got into going to Taliwaji. That was my first time, and I was actually a speaker there. That was crazy.
Mhm.
Uh, this is Taliwaji conference, right? Went from there, got into Essence, did an Essence pop up shop, and literally bold as I am, on a Wednesday night, coming home from work. I work in a hospital setting, and Lenny walked into GNC and pitched to them. I said, Lord, I don't even know where I'm going to go with this job, with my job, and then with the business, because if you're a business owner, you're bootstrapping it quite a bit. Sometimes we're very underfunded, and so I said something has to change and shift, and so that's where my opportunity came, and it branched so much more to where now I have partnerships with Black Men Run, which has over like 30,000 members. I just solidified a partnership with the restaurant here. My products are there. And literally yesterday, I met with someone who just became an Oprah's favorite things. And so I'll be hoping partnering with them with products. So when I tell you about manifestation and dealing with what I went through as a child to now, this is beyond my biggest dream. This is bigger than me. As I tell people that ask me, how did you do it? I have to be fearless, even though when I'm terrified, I still have to keep moving because I know it's women and young men that's coming behind me who I need to build that bridge for them. So that's the short window.
So let me just correct the record because I realize I did kind of fumble those words right there.
No, you're fine.
Um, you struggled with homelessness as a child, and your
Mhm.
family
Yes.
slept in churches and even in the car.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
could you touch on that a little bit and how that affected you and your family at that age?
Wow. Well, I'm gonna try to do it without crying. Like I said, my mother was an educator, so it was just where we lived at the time. We're in California, which cost of living was still high, even like what it is now. And on her salary, she just couldn't manage it. But again, we never knew it was that bad because my mother, she tried to always make sure she provided for whatever we need to, whatever we needed. Um, but it was very difficult. There were times, people are not kind to you. When you're having to take a bath in a sink as a young lady, it's very embarrassing. When you're going through different things. Washing your hair, just basically washing your clothes. Those necessities, being able to cook in the kitchen. We had what do you call those, hot plates. So it was very challenging and difficult. But I knew from there, I knew I wanted bigger and better. Even though I knew that was her best at that time, I knew when I became of age, I had to do and be there for my family. And so, when she transitioned and passed away shortly after I graduated college, I became homeless again in California. But then at that time, I said I have to make sure my younger siblings are taken care of because they were in college, and that's how I kind of transitioned to Georgia. But I think with that, it came with pain. Um, it just came with a whole bunch of emotions, but I try not to focus on that now because I really feel that God has put me in a different place, and I want people to see past once you get past that darkness because God has given me so much light, so much past. Even though I've gone through so much, my mindset has shifted and changed because I can't stay focused on that. If I stay focused on that, there's no movement, there's no trajectory. But I've had to just take. I have very supportive family around me, who who's seen the journey, who knows what it is. I have my moments, but I'm very thankful and I'm very blessed. So I mean, that's pretty much my short answer with that. I try to make my pain into purpose at this point and not stay stagnant. I think that's very important. That's what I teach my clients as well. So we can't stay there.
Absolutely, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about how it felt like that moment, just walking into GNC and just pitching yourself, not having the experience in retail
Hmm.
or even like, did you have an elevator pitch? Like, were you prepared to like this whole business journey? Like, had you prepared anything and just walked in GNC? Like, who does that?
Yes, who does that? Me.
Yes,
Me.
yes.
And I would tell you that's one thing about people say, man, you're very consistent and persistent, right? Because what else is there for me to do? All they can tell me is no. I literally went just like I'm talking to you. That's how I spoke with one there. I think it was their assistant manager, who I spoke with, and she just loved what I was sharing with her as far because it's true, as far as the different products that are out there, and I'm not here to bash any, but for me and my experience and what I went through and why the brand is called Brooklyn Skies, named after my rainbow baby, Brooklyn Skylar, who's probably gonna be screaming in a minute. And I told him on live podcast, so hopefully she don't do that. But I had suffered with my own fertility issues, and so what I've learned through all of that is that a lot of products we use, especially as African American women and men, have so many toxic ingredients in it. And so it was important for me to be able to create something that we can use. Even my daughter, when she gets into my stuff, it won't be an issue. Literally, we have 7 or less ingredients in our products. And so I pride myself on that. But they also are very colorful and they smell amazing, from the feedback, and we do very well. So, it's important that you understand, like I said, turn your pain into, oh, there it is. Oh, thank you. Yes, that's what I pitched to them at GNC and they went crazy. That's our flagship product. Yes, yes, sir.
Fantastic. Let's jump right. Go ahead, Darren, because I know because this is Darren's thing right here. He loves this type of stuff.
Yeah, and
Yes.
kudos to you.
I felt it coming.
I work in social service, so kudos for
You do?
LCSW. Kudos
Oh, thank
for
you.
turning your pain into production. Kudos for everything you are and everything you continue to strive and move forward to be.
Thank you.
In my ignorance, I can't say what the 10 top most dangerous products to sell are, but I kind of feel like skincare is a tricky market to get into. So can you talk about what inspires you to go in that direction and how you're able to navigate in that space? I mean, there's massive competition. I mean,
Yes.
obviously someone like Rihanna could get in there, but that's a name, and yet
Yes.
you found your way to knock on. Well,
Hold
you
on,
walked into a building
hold on,
and you
real
did
quick,
it.
real quick. Keep my wife name out.
You about to have me on the floor. We are not bringing
He
up-
loves Rihanna.
Yes, I love
Oh,
Rihanna.
man.
Rihanna, if you seeing this, I love you. It's amazing. Okay? We don't keep it
Yeah,
there.
but you're
Uh-uh,
doing
you
it.
do
So talk to us
Thank
about how you
Yes.
even just the
Ooh, that was
courage
a-
to do that, to step into
Ooh,
this type of arena.
You have to be a little bit, again, bold and fearless because, yes, it's so many, big names has been doing this for many, many years. But what I'm learning is I'm working with other professionals who are really kind of helping me with my branding and things like that. I don't need 1 million people. I don't need 10 million people. I can have 10,000 people who really enjoy and understand the mission and the value of the product and what it works. And if that's the people I need to talk to, that's who I'm talking to. So before all this and last, when I first started, I probably was trying to go, big. But sometimes what I've learned is that you have to work with who's working with you and what's important. Um, there's so many people like myself, but even people that may not even know that they even need to have these products. A lot of people don't realize when, not everybody looks on the back of it. A lot of these products have water in it. And the first thing with water, if you know anything, and I'm actually an esthetician apprentice, I'm finishing up my esthetician license, they had to put a preservative in it. But do you know anything about preservatives, right? So then when you start to add all that stuff on top of there, it can create, not everyone may have the experiences because I'm not want to speak for a doctor, but sometimes when you're having certain products, because you're ingredients in products, some people are more susceptible to allergies, skin allergies. You may have psoriasis, eczema. I suffer from eczema. That's why I have to be very careful what I put in my products. Some people may, because they're using different products that may have toxic ingredients, it may flare up autoimmune disease. It's so many different things that we have to pay attention to. Like, I know everyone talks about food, but I don't really hear a whole lot about what we put on our bodies every day. Everybody put lotion on, right? As my husband tells me every day. But you don't even think about it, unless you just that person that don't care about being ashy. It just depends. It's some that do that too now.
Yes.
So, but if you care about, this is winter season ish, so you may want to get them ankles covered. But pay attention to what you put in your body. I say, learn about Brooklyn Sky Collection. We have products for men and women and for children. It's yes, that go to Chase Me. That's the backstory, y'all. But we got to talk about that on the podcast after 5, where I came up with that name. Because it wasn't originally called that. But I'm gonna just say a couple. They blew that out the water. Yes, that's the one that went live at Essence, and so we pretty much sold out of that one. We only had a few left. So but y'all gonna make me behave. I have to behave. I'm on radio. I'm a sipping cussing Christian too, but I'm really trying to hold it together.
So, all right, so let's jump into it. Let's jump into it. Let's jump
Uh
into
oh.
it. Let's jump into it just a little bit, just a little bit. So,
Okay,
what
I'm
was?
ready.
I want to know what was the first product, right? What was the first product that you created, and what was that moment, that aha moment that was like, oh, I got you, because it takes a little while to develop that
Okay.
recipe, I'm sure, right? And
hmm
so, what was that aha moment that was, this is it? When did that happen? And then when you started the packaging and that whole formulaic idea and blueprint to start, all right, I got this. Now I'm starting to develop something else. And that's a few different questions, but I want you to
hmm
start with the aha moment and then move on for there.
The aha moment was when I started the coffee sugar scrub, but when I did the lavender sugar scrub with CBD. That was the aha moment. People love the packaging has changed, and it's gonna adjust as I'm working on my branding. But people are like, "Oh, I love this. It reminds them of spa. It's very soothing." Women, and men, if you suffer from stretch marks, they will come back and tell me, "Hey, my stretch marks are lightened because you have to exfoliate. If people don't know, it's important to exfoliate like 2 to 3 times a week, and then follow with your moisturizer after that." They've started to notice. That as women, I'm talking about myself, got a little cellulite, so it kind of helped smooth though. It look, I'm gonna throw myself on the altar, right? But all those things, I have amazing skin. I'm just a thick girl, but my skin is popping. I just want to tell you that. But that was one of the aha moments because the feedback that I was receiving, I said, okay, let me keep expanding. But then I wanted to do something more colorful, and I really wanted a connection for the Brooklyn Sky brand because it was under my day spa business name at the time. And so that's why I said, let me pivot and do something more that symbolizes a rainbow in honor of my daughter, which why I came up with what you see here on the screen, with the body butter, the lip scrub, and then the sugar scrub. And so, first of all, aesthetically, and I love some Tiffany brand. I can't buy all Tiffany, but I love that Tiffany blue. It's a pop of color, so and I wanted to incorporate also my sorority colors in there too, because I'm a proud AKA, and
What's up,
I am,
Okay,
and
somebody
so
said, "What's up, Soror?" Hold up, hold
hey,
up.
There's
hey,
alphas in here. What's up?
He said his alpha's in
hey,
there. All
what's
right.
up, First Fam? So yes, I wanted to incorporate all those things that I love because I want to embody that type of empowerment when it came to bread. And so it really, people just really resonate with it because it's nothing like why I stood out with GNC. Nothing like what I have is on the shelf. And that's literally how I pitched it to them. When you look at what was there, it was nothing comparable to what they already had there. And so when they first put me on the shelf, I just had a few stores. I was next to one of the bigger brands with, I forgot, oh my goodness, having a brain for it, but the one that Jennifer Aniston represents, it was literally right next to me. And I was like, oh my God, my brand, this is crazy. This is $1 billion brand, y'all. And so that's an eye opener. It's still overwhelming to think about that sometimes, but it's just like, God, I know you're working behind the scenes. Even when you feel like stuff is not moving, it is. It's just about being consistent and being faithful in that process. So yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. So I gotta shout you out because I generally, all right. So we get a lot of people that come on the show, want to come to the show, and they send products.
Okay.
And I received your product, all right. And so I was like, all right, well maybe this
Okay.
is yeah. I was like, well maybe it's probably just it is what it is, right? Let me keep it nice. And so I tried it on
Okay.
and I liked it. Usually what tends to happen is
Oh, thank
you
you.
have people who create something and it has a lot of fragrance in it.
hmm
And this wasn't like this. So for men, it's usually they get a little too fruity sometimes or they get too heavy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, too musk. Yeah, it's like oh, I gotta make sure that this smells like you're a man, right? But this, it smelled really good. It was light.
Thank
It
you.
was it was the body butter. It was the body midnight bourbon.
That's the number one seller right now. That's what everybody wants.
And
Yes.
I like it. I really liked
Thank
it. And so I
you.
just wanted to give you kudos to that because we can't necessarily on this show give calls to action, right? But what we can say is that it's something that we tried and we like it. And that was a good it was so kudos to you on it. And so
Thank you.
when you're thinking about men and products, do you start the design or do you start the process in creating the formula with the idea of this what men like, or do you kind of take little bits and pieces from, say, for example, your husband or whatever, and say this is what I'm going to create specifically to a man, or do you just take the position of my products is for everyone, so to speak, because it's a unisex brand. The one that I have, I believe, is unisex, so or it smells like it could be. And so, why don't you talk a little bit about the formula for men, right? Because I like to sometimes amplify the men. We don't get, all the good stuff. They always concentrate on y'all now. But
Oh
men
my
has
goodness.
been, pampering themselves lately and, worrying about our hygiene
Yes.
and things of that nature, our grooming. And so, why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Okay. And I'm glad you brought that up because how it even started for the men. Men, when I were at pop-up shops, they would say, "Where's our product?"
See?
Boldly, "Where's our stuff?" And I was like, "Huh?" And so I kept getting. I said, "I need to create something." And so literally, I came up with Midnight Bourbon, and the other one I had to rename, but it's called Clean Linen, which is very for people that may not want a lot of fragrance. Is more like a very light, airy kind of scent. But the Midnight Bourbon was meant for men. And so women were starting to buy it, but when they tried it and put it on, they said, "Oh, he's not getting this." So then the women start buying it for themselves, and the men would never get it. Uh, but as far as the formula, yes, I do test a lot of things out of my husband and my son and some of his friends. And I know my husband's probably sick of me putting fragrances in his face, but he's very honest about, hey, this does smell good. No, we ain't doing that, And so I do get that feedback from the, and that's important too because I'm not a male, and so I need to understand what works for men. If you're working out, if you're going into the office, if you're going out to hang out with your friends, like what does it that smell like? With, like you said, musk, or do you want hints of vanilla? All those kind of things play into that. And then I'm learning about what you may want to wear during the fall versus when it's summer or spring. So understanding what those fragrances need to be, and those different notes. So I'm learning quite a bit, and it's very entertaining because yes, men, you guys have put me on blast. I will be reformulating my
As
beard
they
oil.
should.
So yes, they have.
As they should, especially when you come from the Divine Nine. Like, come on.
Come on now.
You come from, so shout because Daryl just said, so I gotta shout out, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. So I gotta
He
shout
don't
them
say
out,
what he
But but
Y'all acting up today.
continue
Y'all
to
acting.
think about it.
Yes, I am. I definitely am, and hope to get those things to you, so you can definitely give me your honest feedback on that. Uh, but for men, it's fun because you know what about men? I know as being a woman, like we love so many different things, and I know I get kind of caught up, like I want this, I want that. But men, you guys are very, very specific. I will give you
That's the
that. You're
difference.
gonna get very direct feedback on yes, no, that don't work, and keep it simplified. So I'm definitely looking at. I have the body butters and I have the sugar scrubs, in which men they say, what do I use as sugar scrubs? So men out there in radio land and on podcasts, men need to use sugar scrubs too. Okay, don't nobody. I know I don't. I still want you manly, but we can buff that skin. Get them feet, get them ankles, and get them
Okay,
legs and them elbows. Okay. Yes, I said it.
as you should,
I
as
said,
you should.
and then you put the body butter because I've had people, ask me what is body butter, and I understand, this is not a normal way you say lotion, so I had to kind of rephrase it in that way. But moisturize daily, guys. It's important.
So,
Feel like it.
just for the people that are not really aware of like their skin
Yeah.
type, so they run into, I guess, the CVS or the Rite Aid, and they get
Yeah.
products that don't do the job that they want it to do. Can you
hmm
tell us a little bit about your skin assessment quiz?
Yeah. So when it comes to assessing your skin, so if you're dealing with, I have combination skin. I had to put a little concealer on, honey, for y'all for the night. I was in mommy duty. But understanding what your skin type is first, right? And what I've learned through this journey, there's no sensitive skin category. It's either normal, combination, oil, dry, that kind of thing. So you have to really look at when you put something on, do you have allergic reaction? Do you turn red? Things like that. So you have to be very careful. We may have to do more like fragrance free, which we're actually doing an unscented one for those who can't do any type of fragrance or anything. Um, Understanding when you're doing oily, people keep asking me about, oh, are you going to do a facial butter? Well, I have to be very careful because I want to make sure when we're putting oils on our face, right, we don't want to clog our pores, which we'll call blackheads and, pimples and things like that. So you have to be very mindful, even on your body. Some people are just very, very sensitive to that. But as far as with the quiz, is really identifying what will work for you and also where you live. So some people that stay in dry areas, they may need more a heavier butter or heavier lotion or something like that versus someone who's in more well, when Atlanta is doing this 90-degree weather, you may not need as much. So it's just
Right.
understanding what your skin type is, but also where you live and what type of products you're going to need at that time. But I say, even if you're going to a drugstore, things like read the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we can't go back to old school with the cocoa butter, from the stores. We be doing.
Hold up, what's
Y'all
wrong?
do.
Wait. Hold up. Wait. Hold on.
With the water.
Hold on, I gotta jump back in. I
With
gotta
the
jump back.
cocoa butter and you put the water and you trying to stretch it. No.
What? Hold on. So
Am
you
I talking about you? Uh-oh.
hold on. So you mean I can't use that stick of cocoa butter no more? The stuff. See,
I mean,
I
now
ain't
they're
talking
trying to
about
stretch
the
it
stick.
with water.
I'm talking about
We're not
I'm
trying to
talking about
do
the
that.
one that
Stretch
is
it.
literally cocoa butter and you put water in and shake it up and talk about this lotion.
All right, I don't know that I've ever done that, but I definitely use cocoa butter.
He only know how to pivot from that. Because y'all know it's the truth. I'm not the only one that's been poor.
No, oh yeah, we've been broke.
Yeah, we've been
No,
You've been broke.
you're
But I
not
don't
by
think I ever
yourself.
tried to stretch the cocoa butter. But
you stretch that.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
so when you're thinking about new products, and we got a bit
Yes.
about the things that inspire you and how you you test and things of that nature. When you think about where you're going with your products and your overall, what your product line will look like in 5 years,
Ooh,
tell us a little bit about that.
thank you. That is this is just like a sign of confirmation, right?
Yeah,
Um,
talked about information.
I'm
Speaking
literally
of,
working in a cohort right now who it's such an eye opener as far as what I want my expansion look like. Not even in I would say within a year, compared to 5 year. My expansion right now is really to expand my men's line because I believe my women is pretty solidified, and then after that expand to my children's line. But I do want to pivot to skincare, but I want to make sure I want to use more of a plant based model. So I really want to be very particular about what type of ingredients are in the products if I can keep them as simple as possible. I think simplicity is very important, but also that the ingredients are impactful. And whatever it says on the label, that it says what it is supposed to do. I'm a big believer that I don't want to pay $50 for something and you told me it's going to work with this and it doesn't. So I'm wasting money. So I'm also want to make sure whatever I provide is affordable as well. Um, and for teens, I want to look for teens until as we're aging. I'm 45. I'm proud to be 45. You know what I'm saying? But I still want to hold on to this face as long as I can. And so there's things that you have to do that. And so um, right now I'm pitching to I can't really say what stores, but I'm looking to expand hopefully soon. So you guys should see me pretty soon out there. That's all I can say on that. But expansion right now is key for the next year, and then to be able to extend my brand for my men's and children's line.
Fantastic. And so, I guess one of the last questions I have for you is
Yes.
collaborations and partnerships. One of the things that we've been talking about a lot, especially on the show, is And the gentleman, LaQuay, he brought it up today in terms of how long the black dollar stay in the neighborhood, right? Stay in the community,
Mm,
right? And it's only a
mm-hmm.
couple minutes, right? Have you, put your products? Cause I see Walmart. You on Walmart or Amazon or something like that?
Walmart, Amazon,
Walmart,
Yes,
GNC.
Amazon, GNC.
Amazon.
Mm.
Amazon. I'm on online for Walmart and Amazon. I'm actually in the Amazon Black Business Accelerator program.
That's great. That's
So
great.
that's been amazing. But yes, I strongly believe in collaboration. I think that's the what's helping me to move and to expand and be able to really build brand awareness. Like I said, who would have thought who partners with a skincare line in a restaurant? People like, how did
Yeah.
it go together? It does. Because it's all about, the value bring, you having luxury food, you need luxury skincare while your
That's right.
customers are also, they have to go to the bathroom, wash their hands. They get a whole luxurious experience. And literally the customers are DMing me on Instagram. The product is already sold because I don't even have to be there. They have the experience, they're buying and they're buying in bulk, which is amazing. Right. And then now I'm looking to partner with the bakery. They love the products. People love food. So I'm really thinking outside the box where people normally may run to major retailers. I'm looking at small businesses that surround me. I mean, it's so much opportunity. You have to be very creative. I think you're going back to a question earlier, like how do you stand out amongst, a mass group of people that may have great followers and things like that, or been in business for a long time, because you have to work with people who work with you. So I'm really working with other small businesses who are helping to elevate my brand, and as long I'm elevating theirs as well because we're building partnerships. I think that's very important. That's how we're going to be able to sustain.
Fantastic, fantastic. Is this something that you would like to leave for the audience, or even, because we do this a lot also, you saying that you're making products now, or you're about to start. I know I actually seen it on your website for
Yeah.
for kids, right? Skin Scare, y'all, kids, you have a kids collection. And so
Hmm.
what about any words or anything that you would like to say to maybe a young lady who may be looking at you and has aspirations or doing some skincare line, because that's actually really popular when we talk about
Hmm.
self-care and makeup, cosmetics. That's a huge industry, so a
Hmm.
lot of the women are going in. When you think about hair and the bundles right now, the eyelashes is huge, listen real quick, I see, I shouldn't have brought that up, but leave them
Oh my
snuffleupagus
goodness.
like
Hey, I just have mine on tonight.
come on, man. But in any event, right?
Unnecessary.
I know, right? So in any event, right? Um, is there anything you want to tell, that young person who may look up to you and say like, hey, like this is something that I may be interested in, or I love the fact that this black woman is an entrepreneur and I'm trying to do that. What would you say to those young people that's interested in things like that?
Ooh, if it and what I'm telling them now, right? Because they're asking now. What I share with them is that I say definitely make sure it's your passion, and that you love it and you want to do something bigger than you that's going to help your community. That's first thing, because we can make money doing anything, you know, but you really have to enjoy it. You want to see how can this change my community? How can I have an impact while I'm having fun? Like again, I go back to my mother was an educator. She always made education fun, so it wasn't difficult for me to go to school and get good grades. But I always wanted to make sure I was helping others. But also, what I would say, I'll tell them too, is learn the business. The big thing about we all start businesses, but we started a hustle job. We became another
Yeah.
employee. Become the employer. Work the business, not work in the business. And so it's very important to really educate yourself on what that looks like. Know your taxes, know your numbers, all those things, because you won't be in business. What I pride and what I feel that's really profound by this younger generation, they're doing things at such a higher level than I feel that my generation, like they're just they're literally working fearless and making things move very quickly. But I tell even people my age or older or in between, really understand the business side of it and not create another hustle job for yourself, because the importance, you want to be able to scale and be able to build and be able to, you know, maybe sell the business at one point in time. So really understand what your purpose is when you're starting. And you can always adjust.
So now that you say that real quick, what's your goal then? What's your goal for this in terms of where do you see yourself in the next 3 years, so to speak? And after that, what is the legacy that you want to leave?
Well, so the next 3 years, I would love to be in about 5,000 stores. And that's what I'm working on right now. To be in 5,000 stores, profitable, be in 5,000 stores. And then, in 10 to 15 years, I'm looking to, probably sell the company. I would love to do something. I'm not sure how everything was structured with Miel Organics, but I would still want to have that, be involved in some of the business because I do want to create that legacy piece for my children. But I want to be eventually be able to sell, and I know I'd be able to do that. So I'm putting everything in place that I did wrong, and that's why I'm speaking on this. Know your numbers, know your paperwork, know your structure, your business model, things like that. It's not just all about creating products. You need to know the business side very strongly. You can always get the product stuff situated. So,
Yeah, fantastic. A lot of us have a problem with that business side of things, right? We know how to hustle though, because we
know how
come
to
from the
hustle, but
hustle.
we gotta know that
We know how to
business.
hustle. That's right. That's right. Well, I would like to thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you.
We love your product. We want you to continue doing excellence. We love Black excellence, and we're here to support. And yeah, let's talk ads. You want to jump on our site or put a commercial on? Let us know. We'll make something happen.
Oh,
Um,
most definitely.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
absolutely. So yeah, just stay in touch, and we'll be in touch. And where are you located?
I'm in the ATL, shouting.
Atlanta. There you go. ATL, shorty. There you go. I heard that. I was like, she got a little twang to
Yeah,
her.
you heard the twang.
Yeah, I heard the little twang. I heard the little twang. And
Oh, you give me tonight.
what college you come? What college you went to?
So I went to Cal State Long Beach for undergrad, but I went to Clark Atlanta for graduate school.
There you go. I knew it had to be
HBCU.
something. There you go. So there you go. Shout out to all the Black colleges out there. SBC. We love the Black. We love the Blackness. We love Black excellence, and we want to
Thank
continue
you.
to support, continue to provide and amplify the people, especially BIPOC people. People who are like us. That's what we're here
Yes.
for, and we're going to continue to do that. So thank you again. And one thing we say
you for
is
having
once you
me.
come to the show, a friend to a show, so you're always welcome to come back. You have something coming up, let us know. And kudos to your publishers, your PR team. They holding you down.
I
for
love
sure.
them. Can I say thank you to
Yes.
just a cute quick? I got to shout out my husband, my son Arrington, my daughter Brooklyn, my son Cameron, and my siblings and my PR team. They're so amazing, Sean and Nigel. I just can't. God, I can't look where we are now, guys. And then I don't know if we can promote anything or not. Just let me know. But I do have something special for your listeners and your viewers, if I may share. I can't
Yeah,
see you on
sure.
the screen. Where you
Yeah,
go?
sure.
Okay, so anyone who is watching us tonight or when the podcast posts, if you order now the Brooklyn Sky Midnight Bourbon, since you have experienced it, the body butter is sugar scrub. I'm actually doing more like a discovery kit. I have 5 body butters for $65. Now, one is 25, so I say jump on it. It ends on Monday, November the 6th.
Fantastic, fantastic. I might have to jump on that myself.
Yes, website Brooklyn Sky, one N, Brooklyn Sky Co. CO.com.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank
Listen, support Black, support Black, support. I'm for everything Black. I mean, let's keep it honest, And so make sure you keep tuning in. We Talk Weeklies after the talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful,
Lauren Sizzle.
and my guy,
Daryl Smith Jr.
and the beautiful.
Laurentia Bird with Brooklyn
Yay!
Sky Co.
Yes.
No
Thank
doubt.
you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, y'all. Don't go nowhere. When we come back, you already know we got the sizzle in the building. We'll be right back after this show. Holla.
What's going on, you guys? This is Bridget Kelly, and you are locked into We Talk Weekly.
bag. We Talk Weeklies after the talk of WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Lawrence
and my guy.
Daryl Smith Jr.
Shout out to listen. I love that product. We gotta support the folks, support
Absolutely.
the people.
I'm gonna do it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
yes.
So you already know what's coming up next. What we got coming up next? Man, give it to me early.
Yes. So before I jump right on in, make sure you guys follow We Talk Weekly on all social media and major podcast platforms. And if you want to support what we do, you can make a donation to that Cash App $ We Talk Weekly. All right, y'all. So y'all got to know when you got a real one, okay? Especially y'all men. Y'all got to know when you got a real one. So Ashanti threw Nelly a surprise 49th birthday party. And this was at Frost Bistro and Bar in Atlanta. The party was star-studded with many celebrity guests attending, such as Jermaine Dupri, T.I. and Tiny, Monica, and Brian Michael Cox. So there was a whole photo booth and all that going on, and a DJ who did karaoke, which is one of Nelly's favorite things to do. Both Nelly and Ashanti's parents were in attendance, along with Nelly's 4 children. And later they brought the cake out and Ashanti serenaded Nelly with the happy birthday song. But the highlight of the evening came when Ashanti surprised Nelly with his childhood dream car. It was an electric blue 1962 Chevy Impala convertible. So the couple's history goes all the way back to an on and off again relationship between 2003 and 2013. And then in September, Nelly appeared on Boss Moves with Rashida show where he revealed that they were back together again. So that was just the cutest. Y'all gotta know when y'all got a real one, okay?
He was Ashanti. I like
Yes,
Ashanti.
yes. It's funny because like the fans were like, I think his ex name is Shantae or something like that. It's like Shantae never did nothing like that.
I mean, do
I'm
Shantae, Ashanti money.
That's such an unfair comparison. Like that's Ashanti. Like,
Yes. I'm like, why y'all throw her under the bus like that? All right, so Megan Thee Stallion, she dropped her highly anticipated single Cobra, and fans were quick to point out those lyrics that appeared to allude to cheating on the part of ex-boyfriend Pardison Fontaine. So the lyrics stated, this is the edited version, pulled up, caught him cheating, getting D expletive sucked in the same spot I'm sleeping. So fans heard that. They immediately flocked to Party's Instagram with comments shaming him for cheating on her at her lowest point in life. One IGer said, to do her like that when she was at her most vulnerable, they said to do her like that when she was at her most vulnerable. God don't like ugly, SMH. So Party's low-key clapback was posting 2 memes on his IG story, one of which included a clip of rapper Future saying, "It's an evil world we live in," while he was fixing his chain. And then the other post was a pic of Tristan Thompson laughing as he sat courtside at a basketball game. So y'all know, both Future and Tristan Thompson have been notorious for their cheating scandals. So everybody's like, why would he even post them? Like, for real? But fans also speculated that Party's current girlfriend, Jada Kingdom, was the girl Party cheated with on Megan. So Jada posted them because they was trying to say stuff to her. But Jada posted on her Instagram story that it wasn't her. So the mystery becomes, like, who cheated on Megan with Party? But as for their relationship timeline, Megan went public about being in a relationship with Party in February 2021 during an Instagram Live. And then later that year, they made their official event debut. Because, you know, as a couple, you always got to go to an event, red carpet, something, you know, make your debut as a couple. So they did theirs at the iHeartRadio Music Awards that year in 2021. And in 2022, they celebrated their 2-year anniversary with a private rooftop dinner adorned with thousands of balloons and roses. It was cute. And Party even supported her during the trial against Tory Lanez, who was convicted for her shooting. So the former couple split was kind of brought to light around Valentine's Day 2023. So Yeah, I'm a little curious to know, like, who was she talking about? Like, who was he cheating? Who did she catch him with? Y'all remember that little thing, like, the whole thing was like, who bit Beyonce? Remember that a couple years ago? They was trying to figure out who bit Beyonce.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
No.
Yes. So I'm gonna be trying to figure that out. The Celebrity Sizzle Award goes to. This one is actually a little bittersweet. But celebrities and fans poured out their heartfelt condolences for the untimely death of Friends star actor Matthew Perry, who portrayed the character Chandler Bing. So during the latter years of his life, Matthew Perry was an advocate for people struggling with addiction. So after his death on October 28th, the Matthew Perry Foundation was created in his honor. The foundation stated, in the spirit of Matthew Perry's enduring commitment to helping others struggling with the disease of addiction, we embark on a journey to honor his legacy by establishing the Matthew Perry Foundation, guided by his own words and experiences and driven by his passion for making a difference in as many lives as possible. So Matthew Perry was open about his struggles with addiction, even writing about it in his memoir, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. So in a 2022 interview with Diane Sawyer, Matthew detailed his battle with addiction, including the times when he attended open houses to steal prescription drugs from the homes that was being sold. So he was very, specific. If you've seen the interview, it was really sad. Because when you're struggling with addictions, you really you go through some terrible times. So unfortunately, out of his tragedy, the Matthew Perry Foundation was born. So rest in peace to him. Matthew Perry was 54.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's so sad. Like,
Yeah. No, he was,
that broke my heart.
yeah, he was one.
Did you hear about these conspiracies because of his last Instagram post?
Oh yeah, I heard a little bit
He's
about
in a
that.
hot tub. The caption is, "Oh, so warm water swirling around makes you feel good. I'm Matt Man."
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So the conspiracies will begin to flow.
Yeah, they were talking about this mystery girl and all that.
Who
It's
took the picture?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I liked him too.
I know.
He was one of those actors that was just out the way.
Yeah,
He wasn't
exactly.
in no nonsense, no drama, whatever. That's why I liked him.
Yeah, yeah. He was funny
My
on
wife's
Friends.
a big Friends fan, so
Yes.
I've watched so many Friends episodes. Of the funny ones, I give him top 3 on Friends.
Exactly.
You know, they said Friends was
With respect to Living Single,
yeah.
Living
I
Single
heard
was
about
the other
that.
projects.
Yeah,
and Friends had
Yeah.
suburbs, and even their lots and their trailers were extremely different.
Yeah.
Despite one being Living Single really being the lead,
Yeah.
Friends being kind of formed based off of Living Single.
Yeah. So I just want to give
Yeah.
kudos to Living Single. Then
Yeah,
we
and
gotta
they-
give kudos to Living Single.
Right. They said that he was making $20 million a year from the residuals of that
That's
show.
not a surprise.
I
It's
said,
on at least 3 channels just in rotation. That's
Yes.
not a surprise.
You
But
don't
that
even have
number
to
is
act
crazy.
anymore
Like,
after
well, you
that.
just stay home.
Wow.
you don't
that's
have to do anything else.
Wow, I didn't know that was
Just
the
collect
number. That's
residuals.
crazy.
Man, that made me scratch my. I mean, that's a good
That's
note to leave on.
Crazy.
Wow.
Why is Jennifer Aniston still acting? What?
She-
That's crazy.
Right, because she doesn't have to. She doesn't
Wow.
have to. Like,
Oh, okay.
20 million a year.
Wow.
Wow, and it's others like I can't even get a dime from my residuals.
Right.
Yeah, that's
You know,
sad.
Struggling.
Wow.
Whoa.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We talk weeklies after the talk on WPP on P Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We talk weeklies after the talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful
Lauren Sizzle.
my guy.
Daryl Smith Jr.
And we out here like last year, y'all. Holla.
Peace.
Peace.